Yo, what's up YouTube? Spark here, back again for another video for the channel. And today we are going to be doing a deck profile on what I would say is arguably my second favorite deck, which is none other than Different Dimension Demon, or in short, DDD. So DDD is a little bit of a hot pot kind of deck. And what I mean by that, it just has a lot of different stuff going on, from its extra deck having every summoning type, synchros, fusion, links, exceeds monsters, from the main deck having a plethora of pendulum monsters to pick from, and a bunch of powerful spell and trap cards that just have a different effects that let the deck play and just have a very unique playstyle, in my opinion anyway. I've heard it be joked to be a spreadsheet deck, which is warranted given all the different things it can do with its different combos, routes, and plays, depending on what you open. So let's just get straight into what I play. Starting off, we play the main starter and searcher of the deck at 3 copies, DD Savant Kepler. On normal summon, it can add any dark contracts from your main deck to your hand, or it can target a DD card on your field, add it back to your hand. So that's just a good way of getting certain monster effects back, so you can use it on your next turn, or to get dark contract with the gate or any other dark contract that you need. Next, we play an extender in the form of DD Scale Surveyor. So Scale Surveyor can special summon itself from your hand as long as you control another DD pendulum monster, such as Kepler. It can change its level from level 2 to level 4 on summon. So this is just a good way of getting a body on field to link, summon, synchro, exceeds, just whatever you need from the extra deck at the time. Next, we play 3 copies of one of my favorite cards, DD Griffin. So Griffin is a jack of all trades in my opinion. So it can special summon itself from the hand, similar to Scale Surveyor, but unlike Scale Surveyor, you just have to control a DD monster. So any DD or DD monster allows you to be able to special summon this from hand. Then if you special summon it from graveyard, it can add any DD card that you want from your deck. And if you special summon it from the face-up extra deck, you can discard a DD card to draw a card. So that can help you draw into a hand trap, maybe a trap card, or another dark contract. So this card is just really great. It's not bad if you see it at 2 copies in your hand, because 2 copies can get you into an Exceeds monster, plus maybe you have a tuner in hand. Just whatever you have, Griffin is going to help you get there. Next, we play 3 copies of a new card from the latest set, Doom Dimension. 3 copies of DDD Zero Doom Queen Maki Next, a very, very good card for the deck. So this card, when you place it in the pendulum scale, can place any dark contract face up from your deck on its activation. Then, if a dark contract was destroyed either on your turn or your opponent's turn, it could special summon itself from the face up extra deck and non-target destroy your card. So that's really nice. Then, last, which I think this is just a beautiful thing, if you were to have this card be destroyed by either one of your own card effects or your opponent's card effects, it can place itself in the pendulum scale. So that's just a good way of keeping a pendulum scale just in rotation, so you can continue to pendulum and keep your monsters coming. Now going into the one-ofs of the deck, we play a couple. We play 1 DD Necro Slime. So this is a card that you're going to send off of Copernicus or King Tell a lot of the time. In the graveyard, you can banish this and another DD card to fusion summon. Then we play 1 DD Orphros, which is a tuner for the deck. This card can target itself or another DD or dark contract in your spell and trap card zone, and a spell and trap card in your opponent's zone, and destroy them. So this is a good way of getting it in the face-up extra deck, so you can pendulum summon it out for maybe a synchro play or an Exceeds or even a link. So Orphros is really good. I used to play this at 2, but really you just need it at 1 now. Next, we play 1 DD Savant Copernicus. So this card, it is a Foolish Barrier for the deck. on its normal or special summon, you can send a DD card from your deck to the graveyard. So that's how you get not King Tail. That's how you get Land Soldier and Necro Slime into the grave. Next, we play DD Land Soldier. So Land Soldier is another card from Doom and Dimension. This card, when it's in the graveyard, can target a dark contract that you control to destroy it, which allows it to special summon itself. And then it can target itself or another DD monster that you control and change its level up to the number of dark contract cards that you have between your face up and your graveyard. So you can change it between 1 or 2 levels. Next, we play 1 DDD Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok. Just heads up, a lot of these cards have very long names. But Ragnarok is a very good card. I used to play this at 3 copies just because of how much I like it. So in the Pendulum Scale, it can special summon a DD card from your graveyard if a DD monster is special summoned or normal summoned to your field. And its main monster zone effect allows you to special summon a DD monster when it special summons itself or it normal summons. Then you can also tribute another DD card that you control to banish a monster on the opponent's side of the field, which is just a really good way of getting rid of problematic monsters and to go for game. And then the last one of in the deck for DD is DD Count Surveyor. I like this card, but I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with it, given the fact that to special summon it from hand, you have to send a DD card to the graveyard. So if you don't have that, it's kind of a brick. And then depending on what you have, maybe you don't want to send that to grave. So it's a bit situational, but it has its uses. On its special summon or normal summon, it can add a 0 attack or defense, a DD card from your main deck to your hand, such as Kepler or Copernicus. So, and both of those can be starters on their own right. Now going straight into the hand traps for the deck, we play 2 Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, 3 Droll and Lockbird, and 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. So that's the only hand traps that I really play, aside from Infinite Impermanence. So I know a lot of people like the fact that you were able to cut a lot of the older cards to be able to play more hand traps, which is a good thing. I'm definitely playing a very low number compared to a lot of other people, but I like that given the fact that it allows me to play a lot more engine. So that way I'm not really ever breaking on just hand traps or anything like that, because that is an issue that you can run into if you're playing 12, 16 hand traps, you know what I mean? So it's a personal preference, but I do like the ratio that I have so far. Now going straight into the spells and traps for the DD cards, we play 3 copies of Dark Contract with the Gate. This is a card that you want to prioritize the effect. It is a searcher for the deck. It could be a starter for the deck, even an extender, depending on what your field is looking like. So this card, on its activation, can add any DD monster from your deck to your hand. Next, we play 1 copy of Dark Contract with the Zero King. So Dark Contract with the Zero King, on its activation, you can target another DD card in your Pendulum Scale, such as Queen Maki Nex, and destroy it to special summon out a DD card from your deck. So that's a good way of getting Kepler, Copernicus, maybe Griffin, depending on what your opening hand. This can get you another body so you can continue on into your combo. Next, I play 1 copy of Dark Contract with the Swamp King. So a lot of people aren't playing this card anymore, which is understandable, but I like it still, given the fact that it allows us to special summon again, besides Necro Slime. Or maybe they stop you from getting Necro Slime, so this could be your way into your fusion plays as an alternative option. I also like the fact that it allows me to bring out one of the fusion monsters that is of a higher level, so I can go into a bigger synchro play, which I'll mention a little bit later. Now, one thing that I want to say before I forget, for a lot of the dark contracts, they all share the detrimental effect of burning you for 1,000. Some of them are 2,000, but I don't really play those. But they burn you for 1,000 in the standby phase. But it's not really an issue anymore, given the fact that a lot of your cards can destroy your dark contracts for their effects. Now, I play one copy of Dark Contract with the patent license. This is a field spell for the deck, and I don't see anyone else playing this card. Again, you know, people prioritize hand traps. That's the name of the game nowadays. But I really like patent license, given the fact that as long as this is on the field, if I have any extra deck monster on my field, Link, Synchro, Fusion, Xyz, if my opponent were to special summon that same extra deck monster, they would take 1,000 damage for that, and then they can no longer summon any other monster of that type. So, for example, if I have Divisor Deuce Monkey Next, which is an Xyz monster, they cannot Xyz summon anymore as long as this is on the field. Then if it goes to the graveyard, it can add a DD Pendulum monster, so that's just a good way of getting a combo piece for the crackback, or just something that you might need at that given point. And then we play one DDD Headhunt. So Headhunt can target and steal a monster from your opponent's side of the field as long as you control a DD monster, and then it will negate that monster. You get to keep that monster until your next end phase, so that's just a good way of stopping them from getting maybe a combo piece going, or just stopping a problematic monster effect. Then it also makes that monster you steal into a DD monster, so you can use it for some of your own extra deck plays, depending on what it is. Next, we play a in-archetype Floodgate for the deck, which is Dark Contract with the Eternal Darkness. So what Dark Contract with the Eternal Darkness does, when this card is activated, and as long as it stays face up on the field, your DD Pendulum monsters, your monsters in the main monster zone cannot be targeted, they cannot be tributed, your opponent cannot pretty much do any of the extra deck summonings except for links, and all you need to do is have 2 DD monsters in the scale zone, and then this card is just Floodgate, can't do anything. Next, for the last trap card for DD, we play one Dark Contract with the Witch. So the Witch is very nice for a couple different reasons. So for one, you can discard a DD or Dark Contract from your hand to target and destroy a card on your opponent's side of the field. So that's a good way to get rid of something problematic. If they were to use, say, Dark Ruler No More, you can activate this, which will allow you to react to Dark Ruler No More. Then one thing that a lot of people forget, myself included, I will not lie to you, is the fact that this card gives all of your Fiend monsters, which DD is an entire Fiend deck, 1,000 attack points on your opponent's turn, which is just a good way of making sure that they can't just beat over one of your monsters, because they're all going to have 1,000 extra attack. Now, the last spell and trap cards in the deck, we play one Triple Tactics Talent, one Cross-Out Designator, and one Called by the Grave, the Holy Trinity. And then the last trap card is 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Negate. All right, now going straight into the extra deck, we have a couple different monsters to talk about. Starting off with the Link monsters, we have 2 copies of DDD Abyss King Gilgamesh. So on its activation, Gilgamesh can place 2 DD monsters in the pendulum scale for you. Then, which a lot of people forget, if this card is destroyed by battle from your opponent's monster, it can special summon out any DD monster from your extra deck. So it's a good way of getting out Bright Armageddon or Siegfried on your opponent's turn. Then we play DDD Sky King Zeus Ragnarok. So Ragnarok is very nice. So it has a couple different effects. One, it can target a DD or a Dark Contract card that you control and destroy it, which allows you to do a second Pendulum summon that turn. Then if your opponent was to activate a monster effect in hand, such as any of the Canine monsters, Dracotail Phimena, Nibiru, Ash Blossom, Ghost Belt, just there's so many in-hand monster effects. If they were to activate any of those, you can banish a Dark Contract or a Dark Contract and a DD monster from your graveyard to negate and destroy that card. Now going into the fusion monsters for the deck, we play 2 fusion monsters in the form of DDD Flame King Genghis. This card can special summon a DD monster from your graveyard when a DD monster is no more special summoned to your field. And then we play its upgraded form, DDD High Flame King Genghis, which can pretty much do the exact same thing, but it has the extra bonus of being able to negate a spell or trap card that is activated on your turn. Now let's jump straight into the synchro monsters for the deck. We play 3 of them. We play 1 DDD First King Clovis, which is another new card from Doom of Dimension. So Clovis can special summon a DD card from your banishment or from your graveyard if you control a Dark Contract. So that's just a good way of getting certain monsters that you want back so you can continue to climb and set up your board. Next, we play 1 DDD Cursed King Siegfried. So Siegfried is a spell or trap card negate for the deck on either turn. And then we play 1 DDD Bright King Armageddon. So Armageddon, this is a card that you don't really summon too often, but you can summon it off of using, say, Siegfried and Land Soldier, or High King Gilgamesh and Land Soldier, or you can cheat it out with Gilgamesh. And this card just makes it to where your opponent can't target your DDD monsters with card effects. And there's also 3,500 defense, so it's a pretty beefy body for them to try to beat over. So a lot of times you're going to summon that in defense. Now going into the Xyz monsters for the deck, we have DDD Wave King Caesar. So this card is still a very good combo piece for the card, but you really only use it for its graveyard effect. When it goes to the graveyard, you can add any Dark Contract from your deck to your hand. 1 DDD Wise King Solomon, which is another card from Doom of Dimension. So you can detach 1 Xyz material to add a DD monster from your deck. 1 DDD Marksman King Tell. This card can reduce the attack of another monster, whether yours or your opponent's, and burn your opponent for 1,000 attack. Then if it goes to the graveyard, it can Foolish Burial a DD monster for you. Then we play 1 DDD Wave High King Caesar. This is a card that I'm so happy did not get banned. Fiendsmith was abusing this card to no end. So this card can negate any card that has the effect that includes to special summon, and it can do that twice per turn. And then the last Xyz monster for the extra deck is 2 copies of DDD Divisor Deuce King Machinex. So this card can steal and attach an opponent's monster on the activation of their effect by either detaching 2 materials or destroying a Dark Contract. And then the last card in the extra deck, and I had to talk about him last just because of how crazy he is. So this card is DDD, Dimensional King Arc Crisis. So Arc Crisis can be special summoned either using Swamp King or just by banishing a Synchro, an Xyz monster, a Fusion monster, and a Pendulum monster, which we have plenty of, and that's a Contact Fusion. Then on its summon, it will negate all monsters on your opponent's side of the field, and you're always going to use DDD, Wise King Solomon, because when Solomon is banished, it allows you to target Arc Crisis, and when Arc Crisis was to destroy an opponent's monster by battle, this would allow it to burn that opponent equal to that monster's attack. You're always going to use Clovis, because Clovis will allow you to let your DDD monsters do piercing damage when they attack. And then you can just use any fusion, such as Genghis and any Pendulum monster, either on your field or in your graveyard. Now going into the side deck, we play 2 copies of Nibiru and the Primal Being, 2 Lightning Storm for back row hate, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster for further back row hate because we hate spell and trap cards, 2 copies of Forbidden Droplet, 2 copies of Dark Ruler No More, 2 copies of Spellbound, which is a card that I'm playing around with, given the fact that Dimensional Barrier was recently banned. This card makes it to where your opponent can't use whatever monsters they have on field to summon any extra deck monsters. And rituals, so that's nice as well, to get around Mitsurugi and their stuff. So the last card in the side deck, is Ultimate Slayer. So I'm playing around with Ultimate Slayer, just given the fact that it has every summoning type in the extra deck. It's a good way of just getting rid of a card. Sure, you have to trade a card to get rid of whatever they might have, but in theory, I feel like it'll come in handy. I've done a little bit of playtesting with some friends, and it works, but I'm not sure if I'll keep it. I might trade it out for some copies of Salesman, so I can stop my opponent from joling me on my turn or using Ash Blossom against me on my turn. But as of right now, that's the deck. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Definitely give the video a like, comment what you think about the deck profile, and look forward to some live duels. I'm editing some videos right now. So yeah, you guys have a good one, and until next time, Spark out.